Hello and welcome back to another episode of Funny Girl Abroad. I am Aliki, I am the host, and I'm talking to you about my fascinating experiences and heroic actions in Sweden as a Greek woman. If you are in Stockholm those days, I'm sorry. I just want to say this to you. I'm really sorry. I understand it's dark, you are moody. Stockholm in the winter has no snow, which means it's horrifying. It's horrible. You step out of your street after like 5 in the afternoon and you look around and it's like, what is this nightmare? What is this nightmare that I just stepped into? I need to get out of here as soon as possible. How do I get out of this nightmare? That is the question on everybody's lips. How do I get out of this nightmare? What do I have to do? Who do I need to pay? You probably can't see stuff very well. I don't know. I can't recognize people on the street. I can't recognize anything. I don't know what is a person and what is a tree trunk. I can't see. It's impossible. If you don't have snow in Stockholm at this time of the year, you don't know what you're looking at anymore. It's over. I'm not particularly enjoying being abroad right now. It's sad and dark and empty. I see animals on the street that I do not recognize. I saw the other day what looked like the shadow of a squirrel. 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 That's a tricky word to say. And it looked like just a shadow. It was just a dark shape of a squirrel running around. And I couldn't tell. For the love of God, I couldn't tell if it was a real squirrel or just its shadow running around, because this is how dark everything is. You can't see anything. We need reflectors. We're in a big need of reflectors. There is a massive reflector shortage. Okay. There should have been a service by now. There should be a service that when there comes this time of year and there is nothing on the streets, you call the reflector guys and they come out and they just lay white surfaces on the street where snow would normally be. Okay, and well, probably there's gonna be snow and all of those things are going to be buried under the snow, but we can make them biodegradable. They can feed the ground. There are solutions if you really want to find them. I learned today that there is or used to be, I'm not sure, a sourdough hotel in Sweden. What is a sourdough hotel? Is it like a hotel where you eat a lot of sourdough? No, it's exactly what you suspect it is. You know how you have a dog hotel, but they take care of your dog when you're away? There's a sourdough hotel where they take care of your sourdough while you're away. They feed it. Maybe they give it some Netflix or something, or a warm shower. I mean, you can't really put water on the sourdough. I imagine this would be not very nice. Maybe a little bit of a moisture spray. Just, you know, your sourdough gets the opportunity to relax and recover away from the stress of daily life, breads here and there, kids and kids and kids and kids and every day. I mean, what do you expect from the sourdough? It's not gonna give its best performance under those circumstances. So if you can pull off a sourdough hotel, you can definitely pull off a reflector emergency winter service. And I'm gonna wait for this. But today's episode is not really about any of those things. What I wanted to talk about today is about how small things become big things. Whoa. No, I should have never put this that way. I can now see my mistake, I can see it, and I can appreciate it. I can appreciate these mistakes' size. No, I think I'm just making it worse. Okay, I'm gonna just leave this to the side and start over. When you go out to do any task abroad, any chore, any regular, what's the word for it? The stuff that you errand, any regular errand that you try to do abroad, that in your home country you wouldn't even think about it for a second or a third time, you would just do it almost on autopilot, becomes this unbelievable adventure, this great, thrilling, potentially life-changing adventure. You never know what kind of difficulties, what kind of obstacles you're going to have to face. You never know where the road's gonna take you, what allies you're gonna meet, what foes and enemies. Sometimes it feels so bad that it's almost like you get this feeling that I think that's what they wanted. I think everything is set up in such a way to make it so difficult and so unnecessarily difficult sometimes for you to do anything in a different country. It's like they're trying to make it impossible for you to live in a different country. People don't want you to be here, and so they make everything complicated. It's so easy to slide into those thoughts and read things in such a negative way. I remember thinking that way, and it's just really, it's really annoying, and it's really not a good path for you to be in. For any single thing you have to do, for any single errand, you will calculate 3 times the amount of time that you would normally take for it in the country that you live in. Yes, it's that bad. You need 3 times the amount of time. One part of this time is, well, to do the task, because that's how much time it really needs. Okay. Then you have a second part because it's gonna be harder for you because you're not from this place. The rules are set up against you. Sometimes there's going to be different rules that apply to you that don't apply to anyone else, or the other way around. So that is the second part. And a little bit of communication. Maybe people will not understand. Maybe language can be a barrier. You're suddenly somebody doesn't speak English and that's it. And then you have the third part, which is just let's call it the unknown factor X. Let's call it the secret surprise, the secret sauce of stuff that you never thought but would be an issue. In order to demonstrate this, I'm gonna use a personal example from one of my greatest adventures that I went through, which was to open a bank account. I know it does not sound very heroic. It does not sound like something somebody would write a book about one day. It's not gonna be in my autobiography. But no, you're making a mistake here. Of course it's gonna be in my autobiography. And there should be books and songs written about this. Because like I said, it sounds simple. It would be simple. It would be simple if I was in Greece. I don't want you to clap for me. Don't clap for me if I'm gonna go in Greece and open a bank account. Because that is easy. All I have to do is show up, bring myself, bring something to prove that I am myself. And then just nothing else. It's extremely easy. And then they're gonna just do some stuff and then give me my account and it's over. But not if you are abroad. The second you are abroad, the simplest thing of opening a bank account is not simple anymore. The journey to a bank account is filled with thorns. It's filled with moving sand. How do you call this? Do you call it moving sand? Quicksand. It's filled with quicksand, but this kind of sucks you in. And every move you make, it just like it just sucks you more and more. every move you make, every attempt to set yourself free is just gonna turn against you, and they're just gonna suck you in deeper and deeper and deeper into despair and darkness. But I have all of my documentation, and it should be, and it said in this website that I could just sucking you inside slowly into your humid death. You are going to face, very likely, the big, the notorious, the infamous, the well sung bank account job loophole. Okay, you need a bank account to get a job, but you need a job to get a bank account. So you're talking to people, they're talking to employers, and they say, oh, well, first you have to go to the bank, make sure you have a bank account, and then we can hire you. And then you go to the bank, and the bank says, oh, no, well, of course, you can have a bank account, but you need to be hired first, and then you can come back here, and then I will give you your account. Okay, and you are standing there just thinking, honestly, guys, I think you guys should talk to each other. Okay, I think this has nothing to do with me. I think it's you who have to agree on your priorities. I think you need to have a chat about your priorities, about what it is you're trying to achieve exactly, about what is the order for you to do stuff. I think that there might be, it feels that maybe there's some tension between you. I don't know what it is. It feels like, it's a bit like, oh, your dad said that you should be dressed before food. Oh, no, your mom said we have to eat by 12. So, why aren't you dressed yet? It has this type of energy. Or maybe it's the other way around, and maybe you are actually in cahoots and you are just trying to throw the blame to each other and find excuses that way against me. Entirely possible. I know this tactic very well. I used to do it with my brother all the time. You throw the blame to each other, then nobody quite gets it. Now, to be fair, there is a solution to this, and the solution is that your aspiring employer is going to take a piece of paper and write a letter to the other party, write a letter to the bank, and say, like a promise of a job, that's how it's called. And he'd say, it's just, I promise, okay, I promise, okay, pinky finger, and promise that if you give her the account, I will give her the job then, okay? Okay, is it fine now? Okay, I step back. You win, bank. You win. You come first. So this is what happened to me exactly. I got this letter of promise, and I went to the bank to show them the letter and be like, please, he promised. He promised. Can we do something now? And they saw this and they were like, no. And that is why you need the third bunch of time. That is the surprise. That is the extra obstacle, the extra little adventure that you just can't be ready for. I didn't say this. I wasn't ready for this. I'm sorry. I mean, I think I literally said I haven't even found this on Reddit. Like, what is this case that even with a promise from my employer, you still cannot open a bank account for me? I remember I was so confused. I just kept talking and kept explaining, but you have a different currency. I can't pay with my little euros here because I keep paying for the currency and for the whatever. And I kept explaining and they kept telling me and they just wouldn't leave. And this guy kept telling me, just no, it's just not possible. That just you just can't open a bank account even if you have a job. I mean, yes, sure, but it's a part-time job and you're studying. No, you can't open a bank account if you're studying. That's crazy. I never heard this before. And I kept talking and talking and talking. Not so much because, I mean, it was obvious I wasn't going to change anything. But I just was trying to understand. What is it? Why is this possible? Why did I never see that before? I kept talking and talking and talking and talking and just kept kept telling me that this is not possible. And in the end, I got so upset. I said, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to figure it out. I will get my proper contract from my work. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to find you specifically because I really enjoyed our chat. Just to see this horrified expression on his face, I still remember it to this day sometimes when I need a little bit of a cheer. So I left the bank with my promise letter and I went to a different bank. And they told me the exact same thing, but they couldn't open an account for me. Even though I had my promise letter, it was still not possible. And I remember the guy listened to all those things, and the guy in the different bank listened to all those things, and then went like, "Oh, um, um, okay, where are you from? Greece. Oh, no, no, absolutely not. So what do you do then? What do you do? What are you gonna do?" Well, I started just going to bank after bank after bank after bank, mostly because I just hoped that somebody had missed the memo. Sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes you're completely out of moves, and the only move you have left is to wait for the enemy to make a mistake. Somebody was going to make a mistake. Somebody maybe did not receive the memo. Somebody was not in this meeting where they gave them those instructions. I don't know. I went to maybe 5 different banks, 6 different banks. Still no. Everybody, no, no, no. I got rejected from all of them right away. And it was so crazy. I continued knocking on doors. I continued going to different banks every single day, just for the story at this point. I didn't care so much, I had given up. They're not gonna give me an account. I'm not getting an account, okay? But when I say the story, what sounds better? But I was rejected from 4 banks or from 8? Okay. What is it that has a better ring to it? Of course. So that's why I keep trying. And for this adventure, and from this adventure of going from bank to bank to bank for a whole day, I learned things. I learned something that is very characteristic to me. I don't know if anyone else will agree, but to me it's very characteristic of the culture in Scandinavia or in the Nordics or maybe just in Sweden, I do not know. And that is the culture of, I'm gonna say it in Swedish, jätteledsen. The I am so sorry. Which sounds great. It sounds fantastic actually, to be empathetic, to be sorry for somebody who's having a hard time with something. But I think sometimes it gets really overused. It's when, for example, the person that is sorry about your trouble happens to also be the person causing your trouble. This is a good one. You're like, yeah, but I am so sorry. I am so sorry that this is happening to you. Okay, can you then stop it? No. I'm so sorry that you're for the situation that you're in. I'm so sorry that you've hit this wall. But but sorry, you're the wall. Well, I am very sorry that you feel that way too. I am sorry for that as well. Okay, you're gonna do anything about it? No. But when it comes to being sorry, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna be so sorry. You've never seen anybody be that sorry in their life. Never. You understand how frustrating that is? Because not only you're in this, whatever it is, you can't even get mad. Like, they don't allow you to get mad, at least. At least. You can't be mad at that person because they're so sorry. Everyone is so sorry. How are you going to get mad at them? You end up comforting them. You end up going like, yeah, well, it's okay, just don't. Come on now, it's not a problem. I mean, what is it so bad? Worst case, I'm just gonna cancel my studies, go back to Greece. It's okay. There are solutions. Please, please don't cry. I don't want you. I don't want this weighing on you. Okay, that's real words. This is from the real transcripts from all of the bank people that I met in this time. This was a big lesson. It's a big lesson. I don't know how I was going to get this lesson otherwise. It would take a much longer time. But then I realized it, you know? So if you ever have to deal with Swedish people, if you see them be sad, okay, if you're talking to a Swedish person and they look really sad, don't worry for them. They're fine. Worry for you. You're the one in trouble. You're the one who is about to get a piece of bad news that you were not gonna like. Okay. So after I have passed through all of those banks, I think it was about 8 different banks, and I don't mean just different departments, I mean also different banks, maybe 5 different banks and some different departments. After I passed through all of those places, I go to this place, and I've completely given up at this point. I'm not even trying to, I'm not even trying. I'm not even hoping. I'm just doing it for the story, like I said. So I walk in the place and I tell them, well, I'm studying here. I want a bank account. What? No. Oh, yeah, so sorry. It's okay. And they say, oh, yeah. And I freeze. I thought I was in a dream. I couldn't believe that this was real. I was like, sorry, did you just say yes? Like, yeah, of course, just give me your personal number. My conscience kicked in. I remember looking at her and feeling like, I can't let her make this mistake. What if they find out? What if she loses her job? Like, I started feeling so afraid for her. But I started giving her pieces of information that I believe have interfered in my previous attempts, very hesitantly, just because I didn't want to cost her livelihood. I was like, but I'm a, I'm a student. Yeah, okay, that's great. But I'm Greek. Good, that's so cool. I've been on vacation. Okay, I have a promise of a job. Yeah, okay, that's nice, but we don't really need that. What? 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 I was shook. I was so much on edge. I think it took like 15 minutes to do the whole process. It felt to me like 4 hours because I was constantly on edge, like just looking around, checking. Is there anybody passing over was suspicious? Any phone call? I was super startled of phone calls. I thought that it was the other banks trying to be faster than me, trying to prevent it, to stop me, to stop them from making this mistake. Somebody would call like, "Hey, is the Greek there yet?" Okay, okay, yeah, right? No account, but don't forget to tell her that you're very sorry. Okay, very sorry. It's very important. I couldn't believe that I actually had a bank account. I felt like kissing her hands. It was shocking. And buying her gifts for Christmas. But I, of course, couldn't do any of those things. Not because I would look like a crazy person, this is very low on the list, but because if I appeared as grateful as I actually was, I might tip her off to go and check again or something. And I don't know what she's gonna find then. She's gonna find this mail that nobody but went to the spam, but warns them about all of their students wanting bank accounts. Well, happy ending. I got my bank account, and you can also get your bank account and everything else, okay? Don't don't give up. Keep trying. Don't listen to stupid things like rules and like the law and whatever other stuff people come up with. Those are just excuses. If somebody wants to find the solution, they will find the solution. No, sometimes they don't want to find the solution, but they still do accidentally. And that's still completely fine. You hear people all the time Especially in some countries, you will hear people all the time telling you, well, those are the rules. But then you go to somebody else, suddenly different rules. I'm just saying, don't give up, keep trying. It's gonna work out. When this happens, that you have a small task that becomes really big, it feels like it's really wasted effort, wasted time, wasted energy. Like, why do I have to go through this thing? It's so unnecessary, it's so stupid. I don't see the point. The crazy part, and the thing that it's so hard to understand, but it makes sense when you experience it, is that for a lot of people, living abroad, this exact thing is their favorite thing about living abroad, is how smaller things become bigger, because then they get so much more satisfaction by achieving those things. So running errands, which is just a super boring thing, suddenly can become the craziest adventure. It makes sense because something easy is not as satisfactory as something harder. So, because doing those simple errands abroad is so much harder, it's also so much satisfactory. There's so many things in this category. Just a conversation, just having a simple conversation in a different language, or just shopping. So, this is what I wanted to talk about today, and I think that it might help you. For example, if you're in the thick of it, of going through it in a different country, either as a tourist or a foreigner, or in whatever capacity, it's nice to sometimes zoom out and remember that even if it feels like wasted energy and effort and time and everything, even if it feels like things are harder for nothing at all, it's not really for nothing, because you are going through it and you're growing and you're getting better. Harder stuff makes you happier in the end of the day. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm gonna see you later. Bye bye.